So the word trauma means wound, but it's a wound that you can't see. I used to think that trauma was something that would happen to us and we would try our best not to think about it, and we would bury it in a box in the back of our head somewhere, and I'm not going to talk about that, I'm going to pretend that didn't happen. But actually we can't do that, because trauma lives in the body, it lives in our nerves, in our nervous system. If somebody's got a broken arm or a black eye, we tend to be more compassionate because we can see the wound. But actually physical pain and emotional pain are stored in the same part of the brain. So, being physically injured and suffering an emotional loss will hurt. And after those experiences of trauma, we are super alert and super sensitive to any of those experiences happening again. And because of that, that can create more trauma for us, because we're constantly waiting for these experiences to come at us again. As a society, we're not alert to these trauma wounds, so we tend to be less compassionate with the person who's experiencing that trauma, because what we see instead of the wound is their behavior. And we're sort of like, what's happened to that person? Why are they behaving like that? They're a bad person. But actually those narratives layer up and cause more harm, because that person is just doing their best to cope. And people will do different things to cope. Some people might use drugs and alcohol to try and dampen down the feelings that trauma has left them with. Other people might become violent and aggressive. You might see people develop mental health issues. You might see people isolate themselves, nightmare, flashbacks, not being able to sleep at night, constantly feeling ill and exhausted. Suicidal attempts and suicidal feelings are all symptoms of trauma. And we're seeing that manifest in our society in all different ways. We're seeing our homeless community grow. We're seeing the levels of violence in our communities grow. And underneath all of that, what we're seeing is people who are traumatized causing harm, but that harm is causing further trauma. At Dignify, we talk about recovering from trauma, because we believe everybody can recover. But we have to know what it is that we're recovering from. Because if we don't know why we do what we do, how can we change? We have to start with that place of awareness, understanding what trauma is and how it affects us. So this is the first of a series of 6 videos where we're going to help you to understand how trauma is affecting you, so we can help you to move on. Come on, never too big for a puddle.